All right, Larry Krueger here for the Krug Show. After Thursday night football goes to the Bengals, they beat the Steelers on a game that went back and forth between the two of them. I mean, this was a back and forth game, divisional game. 33-31. Bengals get the win behind Joe Flacco. And it's funny, Mike Tomlin. Now you see why Mike Tomlin was so against Joe Flacco being traded from the Browns to the Bengals in the division. He went 31 of 47 tonight for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Steelers' vaunted defense. And Cincinnati ran for 142 yards, 6 yards a carry. Jamar Chase, 16 catches, 6. Joe Flacco targeted Jamar Chase 23 times. I don't think I've ever seen that in a game. 23 targets for Jamar Chase. Wow. 23 targets, 16 catches, 161 yards, and a touchdown for Chase. He did it all. He was a one-man show. Chase Brown went for 100 yards, but Joe Flacco gets it done. Aaron Rodgers connected with Freiermuth late, and you thought, oh, Freiermuth had a game, by the way. 5 catches for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns for Freiermuth. But Cincinnati comes from behind, and they get the win. And Pittsburgh falls to 4-2. And I'll say this, and I've said this, I really think Pittsburgh's going to have a major, major fall in the second half. I think their schedule gets really hard. And I just think they're going to fold. I think they're overrated. Aaron Rodgers is old at this point. They do have a good offensive line. It's a good young offensive line as well. Cincinnati, by the way, no sacks of Aaron Rodgers, only 2 hits on Rodgers all night long. So, and Pittsburgh had 2 sacks of Flacco, but they hit him 6 times. Jordan Battle had an interception in this game, and the Bengals win at 33-31. It was 17-10 Cincinnati. Cincinnati blew up in the second quarter for 17 points, and it was 17-10 at halftime. It was 20-17 Cincinnati at the end of the third quarter, and then we saw 27 points scored in that fourth quarter, and it goes to the Bengals 33-31. What a game. What a game. Really interesting game. Pittsburgh got it rolling early. It looked, early you thought, oh, man, this is going to be Pittsburgh. This is Pittsburgh's game. They get their touchdown in the first quarter. Aaron Rodgers to Jonnu Smith. They're up 7-0. Then they have a 12-play drive, and Boswell connects from 41 yards out, and you're like, 10-0. Steelers. It's going to be a big Steeler night. Oh, not so fast, because the Bengals would come back. Flacco hit Jamar Chase for an 8-yard score on a 10-play drive to make it 10-7. And then T. Higgins caught a 29-yard pass from Flacco to make it 14-10 Cincinnati. And then McPherson makes a 49-yarder to make it 17-10, or make it 17-10 Cincinnati. Then McPherson hits another field goal, and Cincinnati's up 20-10 in the third quarter. And you're thinking, whoa, maybe Cincinnati's going to run away with this thing. They got a 10-point lead, but Rodgers would connect with Freiermuth on a 19-yard pass to make it 20-17. But the Bengals immediately answered with a drive of their own. 8 plays. Flacco found Noah Fant for a 5-yard score, 27-17 Cincinnati. And then Darnell Washington scored on a 2-yard pass from Rodgers to make it 27-24 Cincinnati. The McPherson field goal made it 30-24 Cincinnati. And the Freiermuth 68-yard touchdown from Rodgers was supposed to be a backbreaker, game ender, 31-30. But the Bengals put together an 8-play, 52-yard drive in the final 2 minutes and 14 seconds, and Evan McPherson makes a 26-yard field goal. Is that what it was? Or 36? I think it's 36. 36-yard field goal. 33-31. Bengals. Wow. What a game. What a surprise. And, man, Jamar Chase. Have yourself a fantasy day right there. That is an incredible fantasy day. So if you look at the box score, Pittsburgh supposedly has this great defense. They give up 470 total yards to the Bengals in this thing. So what can you say? Really, really good night for the Bengals. Turnovers are always the key. Pittsburgh had 2 interceptions thrown, and that was probably the difference in the game. The rushing stats, both teams ran well. Pittsburgh ran for 7.4 a carry. Bengals ran for 6.2 a carry. Pittsburgh had 7 penalties, but the difference in the game was the 2 turnovers. Whoever takes care of the ball typically wins the game. Cincinnati won the time of possession 34-32 to 28-28. But the difference in the game was the 2 touchdowns. How about this? Without Trey Hendrickson, the Bengals find a way to beat the Steelers by 2. So good win for the Bengals, gets them off the schneid, and now the Steelers. I think, to me, by the end of the year, people are going to look at the Steelers and go, what happened? What happened to the Steelers? They were rolling. They were hot. They were moving. They were grooving. And then they weren't. Then it was over. It was over as quickly as it started. So not a good night for the Steelers, because I think they, you have a 10-0 lead. You think you're 10-0 lead on the road. You're in a good spot, but no. You're not in a good spot. In these division games, that's the thing about the NFL. You just, it's funny. This guy just said, you just said Egbuka's better than Jamar Chase last week. What I was saying is Egbuka is a better rookie than Jamar Chase was as a rookie. I wasn't saying Egbuka is actually better than Jamar Chase right now. I'm saying he's having a better rookie year than Jamar Chase. And, everything changes too, by the way. Egbuka got hurt in that game against the 49ers. We'll see what happens with the rest of his year. But yeah, the best rookie receivers ever, Jamar Chase and Randy Moss. Those 2 guys were incredible. And I think Chase is the best receiver going. I know some people say it's Jefferson. I've always said it. I think Chase is the best right now. I mean, strong route running, hands. It's funny. I talked to the Niners quarterback last year who played with him in Cincinnati, and he was just saying, man, the guy's just so strong. So strong. Brandon Allen, when we were talking last year, I said, tell me about Jamar Chase. What makes Jamar Chase so good? He's like, oh, God, man, he's so strong. He can win inside. He can win outside. You can line him up in the slot. You can line him up on the perimeter. And, he's very, very difficult cover, because you can throw it to him even when he's covered. He will out-muscle you for it. He's just got great body control. He's got great ability to shield the defender from the ball. 16 catches for 161 yards on 23 targets for Jamar Chase. Woo! That is cooking. That is absolutely cooking. Nicholas Gearing. Larry Krueger is the best sports account for all information. Thank you. We appreciate that. Somebody says trade for Higgins. Brian Henry, do the Bengals trade Hendrickson now? They might think they can win the division. Yeah, I mean, that's the other part of this. The Bengals don't want to trade. The Bengals want to play it out. So there's all this talk about Hendrickson. There's a very good chance that Hendrickson doesn't get dealt at all. And that's their stance right now. Personally, I kind of feel like the best fit for the Niners is probably not Hendrickson for, a high price. But if you could get Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson for a moderate price, if you could get 2 for 1, I think that would be good. And then you get younger players and cheaper players. I think that's the route I would want to go if I were the 49ers. No more of the singular player, not no more, but I mean, I would steer clear of the great singular player that cost a lot if I'm the 49ers at this point. I think I'd want 2 for 1. If I could get Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald IV from the Jets, I think they know Robert Saleh. He knows them. He drafted them. There's some, if you look at the numbers, and I was looking at some of the numbers for the available edge rushers. Jermaine Johnson's only played a couple games. He's got 72 pass rush snaps. He's already got 9 pressures and 1 sack and a 13.6 win percentage. So I like that win percentage stat. Hendrickson, by the way, is at 22.6. He's elite. Jalen Phillips of the Dolphins, 19.0% win percentage. Bradley Chubb's 11.1. Rashawn Gary, 12.6. Jermaine Johnson, 13.6. Arden Key, 8.2 win percentage. Will McDonald, 13.3 win percentage. So that's the direction I'd go if I could. Will McDonald the fourth and Jermaine Johnson for hopefully a kind of a little bit lesser price tag. I think that's what I would be looking for if I were the 49ers. All right. I am about to jump over to KMBR and start Niners Nightly on the radio. We're going to do 90 minutes on the radio. Chase Sr. is going to join me over there, and we'll talk a little Niners on KMBR radio. Let me hit a couple supers or hit a super here from Stefan. He says, why do the Niners never bench bad O-linemen? Well, it's the old saying is next man up, next man up, next man up. But the truth of the matter is who is the next man up determines whether that's a good philosophy. So, if the Niners had an offensive lineman, if they had drafted a high offensive lineman in the first, second, or third round that they really liked, that was sitting there waiting, they would promote that guy and demote one of their interior guys. But instead, they don't. So they're kind of just I think the Niners deal is they're putting their best 5 linemen out there right now. That's their best 5 offensive linemen in their mind. I would take out Brendel for Nugent. I think Nugent is a good player, and I'd like to see Nugent. That's just how I feel about it. All right, we're gonna head over to KMBR right now, and we'll do a little deal over there. Of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket chili. We're not going to be doing the stream tonight with Sterling, so we're just going to do the radio tonight, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for a little stream in the morning with the great Damon Bruce. So that's coming up later on. But I'm calling it an early night tonight. 49ers football season, we should also tell you, is presented by our friends at Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. One-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks. For daily fantasy, use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. Thanks for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.